Today's story comes from a tradition older than any of us can trace. A quiet conversation between a grandfather and a small boy on the steps of a hut as the sun set behind the hills. It is one of those stories that seem simple on the surface, almost like a fable for children. But hidden inside it is a lesson so deep that monks, philosophers, and wise men have spent entire lifetimes trying to live it. This is not a story about good and evil out in the world. This is a story about the war that takes place inside every single human heart, including yours, including mine, every single day. It is about the secret that decides whether you live a life of peace or a life of regret. And it is about a question that one small boy asked his grandfather that evening. A question that, if you ask it of yourself honestly, can change the entire direction of your life. So stay with this story until the very end. Listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because somewhere in the words of this old man, you may find the answer to a struggle you have been carrying silently for years. By the end of this story, you may understand something about yourself that has been waiting your whole life to be understood. Because what this old grandfather knew is something almost no one is brave enough to teach. And yet, it is the one truth that decides what kind of person you become. In a village cradled by the foothills, where the smoke of evening fires curled into a sky turning the color of old copper, there lived an old man and his grandson. The boy was perhaps 8, perhaps 9, old enough to have started noticing the world, young enough to still believe his grandfather knew everything in it. And on this particular evening, the boy was troubled. That afternoon, another child in the village had taken something from him. A small thing, a carved wooden top, nothing more. But the boy had felt something rise in his chest that frightened him. A heat, a wanting to hurt. He had pushed the other child to the ground, harder than he meant to. And then he had run home, ashamed and confused, because part of him had liked hurting the boy. Now he sat beside his grandfather on the worn stone step outside their hut, watching the last light leave the hills. He did not know how to ask what he wanted to ask. So he simply said, "Grandfather, why do I sometimes feel bad inside, even when I don't want to?" The old man did not answer right away. He had learned across many decades that the best answers are the ones that are waited for. He drew slowly on the small clay pipe in his hand. The smoke rose and vanished. Then he said, quietly, "Inside every person, child, there is a fight going on. A terrible fight. And it is between two wolves." The boy turned to look at him. "Two wolves?" "Two wolves," the old man said. "They live inside you, inside me, inside every person who has ever walked this earth." He raised one hand and held it as though cupping something invisible. The first wolf is dark. His fur is matted, his eyes are yellow, and he is always hungry. He is anger. He is envy, that sharp little ache when someone else has what you do not. He is ego, the one who whispers that you are better than others or worse than others, but never simply with them. He is resentment, that holds on to small wounds until they grow into great ones. He is greed. He is fear that has turned cruel. He is the part of you that wanted to hurt the boy who took your top today. The grandson's eyes widened. He had not told his grandfather what happened. The old man did not look at him. He simply raised his other hand. The second wolf is different. His fur is clean. His eyes are calm, and he is patient. He is love, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind, the kind that stays. He is peace, the willingness to let small things be small. He is kindness, even when no one is watching. He is humility. He is courage that does not need to prove itself. He is the part of you that ran home today, ashamed, because some part of you already knew. The boy was quiet for a long moment. The crickets had begun their evening song. Somewhere in the village, a woman was calling her children in for supper. Then the boy asked the question that every child eventually asks, and that every adult is still asking in the silent rooms of their own hearts. Grandfather, which wolf wins? The old man turned to him then, and in the dying light, the boy saw something on his grandfather's face that he would remember for the rest of his life. Not a smile exactly, but something gentler. The look of a man who had fought this fight 1,000 times and lost it and won it and lost it again and was still here. The old man said, "The one you feed." The boy sat with this. He turned it over in his small mind, the way he might turn a stone in his palm, feeling its weight, its edges. "But grandfather," he said at last, "if I feed the good wolf every day, every single day, will the bad one go away? Will he die?" And here the old man did something the boy did not expect. He laughed. Not a mocking laugh, a soft, tired, loving laugh. The laugh of someone who has lived long enough to know better. "No, child," he said. "He will not go away, not in this life. Anyone who tells you otherwise has not looked closely enough at himself." He placed his weathered hand on the boy's shoulder. "The dark wolf will be with you on the day you marry. He will be with you when your own children are born. He will be with you when you are old, like me, and your hands shake, and you sit on a step like this one, watching the light leave the hills. He does not leave. That is not how it works." The boy's face fell. The old man saw it, and his hand tightened gently. "But listen to me, listen. This is the secret your grandfather is giving you tonight, and it is worth more than anything else I will ever leave you." The boy looked up. "The dark wolf is the one who kept your ancestors alive through famines and wars and winters you cannot imagine. His anger has protected the weak. His fear has saved your life more than once. You survived because of him. He is your courage, strength, and energy. He is not your enemy. The point is not to kill him. The point is not even to hate him. The point is to know him." "Then what is he?" "He is a part of your mind, thoughts, and you," said the grandfather simply. "And every day, you decide which wolf eats." He looked out at the hills, now nearly black against a sky scattered with the first stars. His voice grew softer. Every kind word you speak, that is meat for the good wolf. Every cruel thought you nurse, every grudge you polish like a coin in your pocket, that is meat for the other one. Every time you forgive, every time you breathe before answering in anger, every time you choose to see a person instead of an enemy, you are feeding. Every time you gossip or envy or sharpen a small wound into a long blade, you are feeding. Your thoughts, words, actions, and habits are the meat for your wolves. So you have to choose every day, every hour. Sometimes, on the hard days, every breath. The boy was silent. The fire inside the hut crackled. Somewhere, a dog barked once, and then was still. "Grandfather," the boy said finally, "that sounds tiring." The old man laughed again, more freely this time, and pulled the boy close against his side. "It is, little one. It is the most tiring work a person can do. It is harder than plowing a field. It is harder than building a house. It is the work of a whole life." He kissed the top of the boy's head. But it is the only work that truly matters. Because at the end, when you sit on a step like this one, and you look back across all your days, you will not be the sum of what happened to you. You will be the sum of which wolf you fed. Remember this, my child. He who conquers others is strong, but he who conquers himself is mighty. They sat together as the stars came out, one by one, over the hills. The boy did not speak again. He did not need to. Inside his small chest, two wolves stirred, as they had in his grandfather, and in his grandfather's grandfather, and in every human heart since the first one began to beat. And somewhere in the quiet of that evening, without ceremony, without even knowing he was doing it, the boy chose. He chose the wolf he would feed tomorrow. Pause for a moment and let the grandfather's words settle into your own chest. Because this story is not really about a boy and a wooden top. It is about you. It is about every person who has ever lain awake at night, replaying a moment of anger or jealousy, and wondered, why is this in me? The old man's answer is one of the most honest truths ever spoken about being human. The darkness inside you is not going away. But here is the hopeful part. You are the one doing the feeding. When you replay an insult from 10 years ago, you are feeding the dark wolf. When you nurse a grudge because it feels good to be right, you are feeding the dark wolf. As the wise have said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The person who hurt you sleeps peacefully tonight. You are the one lying awake. But the opposite is also true. Every time you breathe before answering in anger, you are feeding the good wolf. Every time you forgive someone, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free of it, you are feeding the good wolf. As the ancient wisdom teaches, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. The small choices you make today are not small at all. They are quietly building the person you will become. So think honestly. In the last week, which wolf have you been feeding more often? There is no shame in the answer, only awareness. Because the moment you become aware, you take back your power to choose differently tomorrow. And remember the deepest lesson of all. The dark wolf is not your enemy. He is your fire, your strength, your survival. The goal is not to kill him. It is to know him so well that he no longer rules you. Because in the end, he who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. You will not be remembered for what was done to you. You will be remembered by which wolf you chose to feed. So start today. The next angry thought that rises, breathe through it. The next person who hurts you, choose to release it. This is the hardest work you will ever do, but it is the only work that, at the end of your days, will truly matter. Register these words deep inside your heart. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. No enemy can harm you as much as your own thoughts. Your worst enemy lives between your ears. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. The hardest battle is the one within. Conquer yourself before you conquer the world. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Now I want to hear from you. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Which wolf have you been feeding lately? And what is one small thing you will do differently starting today to begin feeding the other one? Maybe it is forgiving someone you have been angry with for too long. Maybe it is letting go of a grudge that has been quietly poisoning you. Whatever it is, write it in the comments below and let it be a quiet promise you make to yourself tonight. If this story touched something deep inside you, please like and share this with you so it can reach someone else fighting this same silent battle. And subscribe to our channel so you never miss a story that could gently change the way you see yourself and the world. I'll be back again with another powerful story. Until then, be patient with yourself, be gentle with others, and remember, the two wolves are not just a metaphor. They are real. They live inside you right now. You are choosing which wolf to feed. Choose wisely.